Most analysts believe that President Cyril Ramaphosa's energy plan announced last night is a major step towards ending load shedding for good. The president announcing a number of measures to increase generation capacity and address maintenance and skills shortages at Eskom. For more on that, we're joined by DNG Energy CEO Aldworth Mbalati. Good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. You work in the energy space. I think just perhaps your reflections on the president's plan.
You know, it is a breath of fresh air to finally see our leaders take a courageous step. I mean, if you look at ANC policy, it is all about having a developmental state. And for our president to have said, let everyone that is a citizen or an international player come into the economy and help save our country is a great step forward. So I would like to commend him and his team in terms of heeding the call to say that load shedding is a painful exercise and it is taking away so many jobs and economic growth from us. So it's a great thing that he has done.
What about it did you find to be so brave?
Look, the fact that you're saying that I'm opening up the economy for private sector to come in. I'm no longer protecting Eskom as an entity. I'm saying that those who have the means and the technical skills and the prowess to come into the economy in order to make it work, let them come bring that solution. And a lot of people have been saying that, look, they have houses they would like to put solar into the grid. That has been allowed. So there is that element of inclusion that I think the broader population in South Africa that has been yearning for and that has finally materialized.
Part of a solution, but certainly not a solution that the majority of South Africans can afford at this stage.
Look, it is not necessarily about that. I mean, you've got many industries that have been crying for years to say that we have excess capacity. Can we please put this capacity into the grid? You've got renewable companies that have bid in the previous bid rounds that can all of a sudden say that we're increasing our capacity in order to help South Africa at a lower cost. So there are those entities that are in the commercial space, that are in the services of providing industrial solutions that can come to the party in terms of helping our country move forward.
Do you think it's opened the door for private players to actually see how much more they could be doing now that they know that that energy won't just be sitting around, but that Eskom will in fact use it?
Without a shadow of doubt. I mean, it is not only a function of looking at it from an Eskom perspective. It is looking at it from a South African Inc. perspective. There are many people that would like to open mines, but they don't have power. There are many developments or developers that would like to put up housing estates that do not have power. So that opens up a way for people to get power and reach financial investment decisions in terms of making sure that they can bring those projects on stream. And indirectly, you start creating jobs and start having a sustainable economy.
I imagine you're referring more to the requirements that it takes from a licensing perspective to actually set up these operations, because that cap of 100 megawatts is still there as far as I understand.
As far as I understand, captive power, captive power you don't have. If I'm a power generator and I'm producing for a mine, I don't have a cap. So as far as I understand, I may be wrong, but as far as I understand, no, that cap has been lifted. And even if it was there, if you went to the minister and said, can you please remove this because I've got a smelter that I would like to service, you will have that flexibility for you to be able to do that.
So what are the plans, at least as far as DNG Energy is concerned? How are you planning on capitalizing on this?
Look, we've got various sites that we've been developing for the last couple of years. We've got at least 6 sites, and what we're looking at doing is putting our own gas-fired power stations. And what gas does is that it supports renewables. We are an economy of making sure that we reduce our carbon emissions. For every 5,000 megawatts of renewables that get put out there, gas enables that by making sure that we act as a balancer. So when there's no sun, gas comes in. When there's no wind, gas comes in. And that is the niche that we operate in. We've been fortunate enough to have imported the first consignment of LNG into South Africa last year, and we have put that into the trucking industry, and we're seeing a huge growth in terms of the number of trucks that are starting to take up LNG, and they have already seen massive savings, and it is a very good thing for for the environment in a sense that you don't have sulfur oxides, nitrogen oxides, and you have 60% less carbon emission. So as DNG, we are there to help South Africa grow by playing in our space.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on to the show today. Aldworth Mbalati, who is the DNG Energy CEO.